everybody. How's everybody surviving the coronavirus? It has been difficult for, I think, a lot of people's mental health. So if I'm being honest, I've redone and made many videos on my fear of abandonment, and I was doing two at a time, trying to do two in one video, and it just wasn't working. And right now, the last 2 days have been really rough, so I'm going to take a deeper inside look on my fear of abandonment, and I'm currently on my way to town. So I have also, before continuing on with that, I've also learned if I am not 100% just focused on trying to talk to a camera, I am able to feel like I can communicate a little bit better. So basically if I just act like I'm talking to myself or to the invisible person next to me instead of the camera, I can do a little bit better about explaining how I feel. So I'll start off with, I guess I've had abandonment. I felt or have started. It started when I was young. My mother and her husband at the time left us. There was 8 of us at the time. Left us all the time with the older siblings, and they were pretty young still. I think my oldest sibling was maybe 11. They went out a lot, partied, did drugs and alcohol. So, I mean, I guess it probably started then. But the first time it really hit home with me was my 10th or 11th birthday. I'm pretty sure it was my 11th birthday. My biological father hand-delivered a birthday card, stuck it in the mailbox, and inside of it, it read, this is not quotes, this is what I read, this is what my mind told me it said, and I mean, and it's, it's true, it's just not how it was, word for word, but it said, happy birthday, I'm moving, see you when I see you. But he did move. He moved to Missouri. His house was my safe haven. His house was the way, my escape from my abusive mother, the trauma that I experienced at her home. It was just, that was the only time in my life I had ever felt like a family. That's the only time in my life that I ever felt like I have 2 full-blooded siblings, and that's the only time I ever felt like we were normal. And I don't like to use the word normal. I'd prefer to say majority. So just moving forward, if you hear me say majority, that is, I guess, what others would use as normal. I don't think anybody's normal. No two people are alike. But that's the majority. Like that was the only time I ever felt like the majority. The only time I ever felt like, I don't know. I always wanted to live with my dad, and my mom would never let us. And I mean, she would always tell us these horrible, rotten stories about our dad to try to make us hate him, or like he didn't want us. And to this day, I don't know what is true and what's not true. It doesn't matter, because even later on in life, he abandoned me. But I blamed him for a lot of things. One, for not protecting me. You're my dad. All these other girls have fathers, and you know, their dads would have, you know, committed murder for some of the things that had happened to me. And it's just, it was bad. So that was a very, very, very tragic moment in my life. And that was the first time I felt really, really abandoned. And I think having to talk to, you know, a therapist about this, and it having to come to light, I didn't know this until recently, but that would be why I have literally done some stupid things to keep people from leaving me or whatever. I've told lies. I've hurt myself. You know, because it's that scary. But I've also done the same things to cut people out of my life. And that's what makes us borderline so unique, I guess. But at the same time, there's no two of us alike either. I have not met anybody else with borderline personality disorder, so here's another reason why I'm doing this and setting up this blog, which has been frustrating. But anyway, so the last couple of days I have felt, once again, this abandonment a lot. And I'm set back and I look and I think about my family, and I'm probably gonna get emotional. I still, oh my Lord, I am not going here. Our local Rural King is entirely way too busy for me to stop. So guess I'll go around in a circle. Okay. I miss them, and I don't have any idea why. And you know, some of the things that I hear them say about me is so far-fetched. I'm just like, okay, even if you don't ever want to talk to me again, why would you want to make up stuff about me that's just gonna cause more problems in my life? Like, you don't love me. And for those of them that are, and I'm sorry if this hurts anybody's feelings, I do not mean to, but for those of them that are Bible thumpers, you are not a Christian. For making up lies and for judging and talking about me, I mean, like, they all once had their own, my siblings all had their own vices, and congratulations, you found Jesus and you're trying to do better. More power to you. I'm happy for you. But no matter what, I don't make somebody else's life more miserable than it already is. Nobody else can punish me more for what I did to myself. And what that is December 28th, 2017, right? It was 2 years. Yeah, okay. How could I forget? December 28th, 2017, I attempted suicide. And when I say attempted suicide, I planned this for 9 months. Or not 9 months, 6 months. Yeah, I was just done. And it was not the first time, it was my 6th time. But they didn't know that. My first time I was 13. The second time, I was 13. The second time I was 15. No, I was 14, almost 15. The first time I tried to hang myself. The second time I took a whole bottle of trazodone. I didn't really, it's not like I studied it, or when I was 14 years old, I was just trying to, the first time, my family life was just really messed up. The second time, I'd called my sister at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she answered the phone, and she said, because I was just sad. I've been sad my whole life, and she said, "What the fuck are you calling me for?" And chewed me out and wouldn't even listen to me or talk to me. And I was like, okay. And like, I needed her. Like, that was a crucial time in my life that I needed my sister, and she hated me. Like, she's hated me since I was like 12, for sure, at least. Like, no matter what I've done for her, like, that's a different story for a different time. But so, like, I just, whatever, like, I had nobody. And that's a different story for a different time, too. I was adopted for about a year. I wish I would have stayed. Then the third time, I cut my arm, I think. was the third time. And then the fourth time, I took a bottle of sleeping pills. And then another time it was medication again. And then the last time was I took, okay, so this took some research. And I mean, I drank antifreeze. One time on accident. And then I decided to drink it again. On purpose. So, after the 6 months, like, I knew at one point I was just done. I was tired of, like, I was getting no help with my kids. I was told I worked too much, or I didn't work enough. Nobody paid, their dads wouldn't pay me child support. There was nothing left. Felt worthless. I was told I was worthless. I was constantly being put down. I just couldn't. I felt like the world's biggest fuck up. I must be the devil, like, ranked in just a fucked up person. Like, I am not good enough for the world. My sister told me I was the scum of this. I mean, the lowest scum of the scum, the ocean's lowest, whatever. Like, for what? Why am I such a horrible person? And, you know, I couldn't understand what was wrong with me. I was emotional. I hurt on the inside. I was hurting myself physically to release my emotional pain, and I couldn't tell nobody, and I didn't know how to tell anybody. And if somebody really cared about me, how couldn't they tell that I was just broken? And because I can tell when people are hurting. My brother, for instance, there's so many times that I just wanted to hug him, pick him up, and just grab him and just love him. Why couldn't people see that in me? Like, why couldn't somebody just say, hey, let's go get you some help? Nobody did. Never. Ever. So, I just thought it was time to die. I took 30 Klonopin, 30 Ambien. I took 30 blood pressure medicine. Can't remember what it was. Why is I'm prescribed something different now. I took 30 muscle relaxers, and I drank 6 100 proof shooters. And I laid down to rest like it was nothing. When I fucking woke up, excuse my language, I was mad. I was so mad that I was alive. That's all I remember. So, this is part 1 of my fear of abandonment. I'm gonna continue with part 2 and get both of these up as quickly as I can.